Today we have a severed hand cake. It will be tasty, it will be bloody, and it will have crunchy bones. All of the recipe links and tools, all that stuff is down in the description down below, so make sure to check that out. You can make this from a box or whatever you'd like. I am using a white cake recipe. I added a little dye. It's not exactly flesh tone, but it's at least not a white cake. So I made 2 8x8 pans, baked them according to directions. Now my oven and I were still getting acquainted because I moved recently, so I did have to cut off some of the darker portions, and then on each of these I sliced them in half. Next I took some pretzel rods and cut them different lengths, a little longer than my fingers, and took some red candy melts, melted them down, and did one side, and then where I was holding it once it was solidified I did that. So this has 3 purposes. 1 is to keep them from getting soggy, 2 is for the blood effect, and 3 is because chocolate is amazing and yum. So taking one of the cakes, this is where we're going to get our fingers for the cake. Just cut them roughly about the same size-ish, and we will trim them down soon. So you're going to take each little finger and carve out a little section where the pretzel rod will go. So you want to keep it really close to one edge, as you'll see on the left there, really close to the edge, because you might be trimming off part on the right side. And then we're going to round it up, because we're not robots. We do not have squared off fingers. So at the tip, on the top, and even kind of rounding off to the bottom helps with that shape. And just make sure it's nice and smooth. I didn't cut off the top because I figured some of the natural roundness of the cakes might help with that. I kind of like that look. So once you have them all trimmed up, I'm placing them, seeing how they're going to work out on my makeshift cake tray there. And obviously all of our fingers are not the same length. So deciding by the pretzel, which is the longest, which fingers need to be cut down to size, I go ahead and trim those. And you really want to avoid cutting into any of the pretzels at this time, because again, you don't want them getting soggy by the rest of the things that go in the cake. So figuring out my thumb size, and then taking the other cake, and this is kind of the fun part where you really see it starting to come together. Just go ahead and carve it. I keep referencing my hand, and remember, you can always take off more. It's a little bit more difficult to kind of squish it back on. So just going a little bit here and there and having fun with it. Then I take the middle section, and of course we have carpals there. No, not carpals. Yes? Metacarpals. I don't know. I'm not good at this stuff. One of those things. Carving it out because you got them crunchy bones going all the way through your body. So added some of those, try to pack them in there however they best fit. I always use a little buttercream to kind of cement the cake on there. And then in here I used some caramel sauce and dyed it red. So you've got your tasty blood there. And I figure caramel, or caramel, however you want to say it, with pretzels and chocolate, you cannot go wrong there. Can't go wrong. And then just a border of buttercream there, seal it in, get it together, kind of smush my sad little top in, but we'll fix that. It's not really a big problem there. And just kind of smush it back together. And then we take some cake scraps, make it all okay, build it up a little bit even. And then with the fingers, you're going to do that border of buttercream. I found that a squeeze bottle was easier to get it in there so it wasn't so messy. And then seal that up and use some frosting for glue. Glue it to the hand. And then we are going to be doing a nice little crumb coat. So this just covers up the seams. It gets all the crumbs to just stick to the cake so it's not in your final layer. Smooth it out, scrape off the excess. It is supposed to be thin. And then you'll be putting this in the fridge for about half an hour just to let that butter get hard. And then you can put on your second and final coat of the frosting. I dyed it a little bit. I know this is nowhere near flesh colored, but I figured that wasn't the most important part. I'm going to be using this flesh tone marshmallow fondant. I have a video on how to make that. It's really simple and really tasty. And obviously if you want a darker flesh tone, that should be easy to make as well. So carefully pick it up and put it over. And this is the part where I tell you to do as I say, not as I do. So you're gonna take and smooth it around as best as you can. But what you'll start to see is that there isn't enough fondant between the fingers. When and if I do make this again, what I would do differently is actually to put the fondant over the fingers first and then attach it to the basically the palm, because either way you're going to have to do kind of a bit of, I don't know, work, a little bit of surgery. This way you have to do a lot of skin grafting between those tight spaces, and it just made it really hard. This took the most time, was just kind of piecing it all back together. And I think that it would be a lot easier to just attach the fingers and kind of smooth that out than what I had to do. So learn from my mistakes, and yeah, just go ahead and smooth it out as best as you can like you normally would fondant. You're going to trim at the base, just make sure it's good and smooth, and then go from there. So as you can see, I took some scraps and took a sharp knife to kind of get them the right size and shape. And then I took a duller knife to kind of squish it in there and blend it in. I also ended up taking a little bit of water, and that helped to really, I don't know how to say it, smooth it out. It really helped it to blend together so that it was less noticeable. And you know what, I kind of figured this is kind of a little bit of a Frankenstein monster hand. It's so huge anyway, so you can see all the work that I had to do, and there's the first side, but it'll look a little bit better soon. I got all those done, and it does look better than just kind of yellow cake showing through. Also, I got a little bit of a scrunched up fondant here for the severed hand portion. The next thing that I'm going to do is actually take some fondant and water just a little bit and smush it into a paste, and then you can apply that to any cracks and seams that you have to really give it a smoother appearance and cover up those boo-boos. So that's what I did as my final step to make it look better and recover from my kind of fondant mishap. Taking the dull side of a knife, I am just indenting. I don't really want to cut through the fondant, but I'm going to make my fingernails. And this guy is definitely a nail biter because he has short nails and kind of funky shape. That is okay. Then we are also going to kind of dent in, draw on our knuckles. Now I realize this is a ginormous hand, but it's still not to scale. It is missing one knuckle, but it would have to be outrageously large to fit it all. So I was just having fun with it. Then I take some vanilla extract, and with a food safe brush, I am just gonna brush that on there. It gives it a little bit more color and really makes the details that you just added pop, as you can see right there. So I go about and do the whole thing. Now last of all, I'm going to put on some more of that bloody goodness down at the stump. And here you go, here is our finished product. It is about to be taste testing time. And stop the video, pause it, let me know in the comments below, do you think that the crunch of the pretzels came out correctly? That's the big question here. Alright, well here we are finished up. Let's go ahead. I would like a piece of the pointer finger. What do you think?
I think that was intense.
This is awesome. All right, I'm just going to keep hacking away at it, because why not, right? Gotta get all those good pretzels in there.
Oh my God.
Awesome! All right, this guy didn't pay his bookie. One last go at it.
He loses 2 fingers for it, man.
This little piggy went to the market. This little piggy stayed home. All right, so this is my husband having a hard time waiting to try it. Which finger did you grab, dear? Pointer finger. I haven't even tried it yet. And I would love to know what you guys think about this. Would you also give it a thumbs up? If you want to give me a hand and support this channel, give it a good subscribe, thumbs up, share this everywhere. I would really appreciate that. Also, go ahead and check out my other videos. I've got a whole bunch lately. I've been doing a lot of Halloween treats, cakes, all that kind of stuff. And we're going to keep doing it for the holidays and just because we can. So thank you so much for joining me here on my little corner of the internet with creativity, and have a wonderful and spooky day. This little piggy had roast beef. This little piggy had none. And this little piggy cried all the way home. Wee, 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 wee. This may be a little more satisfying than it should have been.
Yeah. Maybe.
Alright, there you go. Now it's put all back together. Just as good as new. He just needs some stitches and we'll Frankenstein him.
Yeah, totally.